Hello everyone at the vinyl community. I thought it was time to do a little vinyl update for March, even though I know March isn't over yet, but I still thought it was a good idea anyway. March has been a very good month of buying records. I managed to do findings that some of them are going to go into best finding of the year, hopefully. but it has been a very good buying month. With a lot of risk takers also, albums that I really don't know what's on them, but hopefully they're good, because I found some very interesting album for extremely low prices. First of all, I'm going to do a little shout out to a couple of guys that I had to thank for giving me the opportunity of buying this record. Thing is this, that in my response to Adam Nichols about the childhood musical memories, I talked about a cassette that I did when I was 7 years old, recording on the cassette recorder, holding that to a loudspeaker and recording that way, and it sounded horrible, but for me, that back then it was a recording nonetheless. I've since then I still have that tape, and I listened to it and tried to locate which kind of songs it was and buying them back, and I managed to do that with most of them, all but leaving but one that I haven't been able to locate to find what kind of a song it was, because I didn't for some reason record when they told that. So I spent almost half of my life wondering what kind of song that was. I've asked friends and none of them had a clue what it was. And I almost gave up hope until I gave a last try asking on the Swedish discussion forum for Swedish record collectors that I'm a part of what it was, and wrote down some stuff from the lyrics, and I got a tip from a guy about a song that it actually could be, and I thought it was very interesting, and all of a sudden he mailed me and said that he found the record that song was on at a record store in Stockholm, at Solna, called Hot Records. And I said that and I made up a deal where I bought this record from that store, even though I'm living here. I got it a couple of days ago through mail, and I'm going to say a huge thanks to Mark Pearson at Record Nerds, the discussion forum, that gave me the tip about this album, and to Daniel and Anders at Hot Records for sending me it. And I'm very satisfied. It is the right song that I've been looking for since 1982, and it could have been a lot of things. It could have been the wrong song. No, it wasn't. It could have been an album where that song was the only thing that was interesting. No, it wasn't that either. It was an album that was very good, actually. Tundra, as this artist is called, this band is called, is a band that is a prog group from Sweden, singing in Swedish. And I'm not into prog music, but their album Dubbla Budskap is actually a good album, a very good album with interesting lyrics. They are great musicians, very well produced, and kind of unpredictable album that you never know where the song is going to end. Actually, the title track Dubbla Budskap is, for instance, a song that is highly recommended. So this album, it wasn't all that easy to find, but it was worth all the money that I paid for it, and it was a very interesting record that I'm very happy to find. So Mark Pearson and Hot Records, thank you very much. Starting to sound like the Grammy Awards, but I'm very thankful for getting this album. Moving on to the beginning of the month, and a sellout that they had on a second-hand store that I'm visiting every now and then. They sold out vinyl records for 10 cents, and I did a whole lot of buying, and I'm going to get to those later. But they also had gotten in a whole bunch of jazz CDs that I was very interested in, and I bought them too. Not for 1 cent, but about $1. This is a very interesting album, even though it's released on a very low budget label. Modern Jazz Quartet, and a live album. It's released on Valentine Records, and as you can see here is it's not, they have not wasted much time on writing down information about this concert. It doesn't say anywhere where it is, but it is from 1959, obviously it says here. And it is John Lewis, Milt Jackson, Percy Heath, and Connie Kay. I'm not that huge fan of Modern Jazz Quartet, but this live album actually was really good. Very relaxing, very smooth, and very jazzy. So this one is highly recommended, and it's a very good album. This one was a little bit of a risk taker. Bing Crosby and some jazz friends. This is original American Decca recordings, released on MCA and B&G, 1991. I'm not that big fan of Bing Crosby. Of course, he's a great singer, no doubt about it. But he's done so many various things. He's done ordinary jazz recordings that are with big band leaders that are really good, but he has also done some stuff, sort of American entertainment music that is not all that interesting. So this is a mix with a CD that mixes recordings with the great big band leaders like Lionel Hampton, Woody Herman, his brother Bob Crosby, and so on, but it's also some mixed with leaders that I never heard of, Lee Wiley, Joe Sullivan, and Bobby Sherwood, and it does a duet with Louis Armstrong with the Jimmy Dorsey Orchestra that doesn't feel all that much for. That I think it may not be the best song on the album, but I was very curious about this one anyways, so it's going to be very interesting. This one was an album that I was very happy to find, actually, because I have a lot of jazz EPs with Les Browne, but I I've never been able to find an entire album. This is Les Browne and his band on Renown, Blue Skies Volume 2. This is recorded in Hollywood in 1951-52. And released on Blue Moon. And unlike Valentine Records, they had actually great information about the band and which musicians have played. And very interesting album, actually. I didn't like Les Browne that much when I was a child. I thought it was kind of I wasn't too fond of 50s big band music, but I've listened to the EPs very much, and I think that Les Browne nowadays is a great big band leader that swings very much. It's a great swing leader. But this one was the jazz CD that I was most happy about, and I also have listened to this one. This is J.A. Johnson and Kay Winding. I showed at the last vinyl update a vinyl album with those guys, and here I was able to find a very interesting CD. And this one contains also Bill Evans, Paul Chambers, Tommy Williams, Roy Haynes, and Art Taylor. This is a reissue, of course, but it's released on Impulse, and it's a great album. The songs are mainly from 1959 and 60, but it's a very smooth album, very relaxing, and I really like this album. Great songs, and J.J. Johnson aka Winding plays very well together. So this is highly recommended. I also bought some CD singles for 20 cents, and for 20 cents I can accept that the sleeve isn't all that good shape. I like Eurodance music from the 90s very much, and of course I couldn't resist buying Hathaway with Fly Away from 95. This one is in a totally different style. This is Swedish rock band Sator with their special version of ABBA's Ring Ring from 1993. It was a pretty good hit in Sweden actually in the summer that year. Going to step away a bit from the sellout on that second-hand store. This is a very interesting single that I bought last Saturday, I think. Lydia Murdoch, Love on the Line. Lydia Murdoch, of course, is most famous for her answer to Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, Superstar, Who Do You Think You Are? And that is an extremely funny and interesting song actually. But this one is a song that I've heard before, and I think this is a great 80s disco track actually. So it's a great 1984 disco song. So this one was I was very happy to find it. Last vinyl update, I showed a live album with Dan Hylander, and I was able to find another one. Dan Hylander, Ray Montana Band, Din man kommer hem, Your Husband is Coming Home, from 1991. Here is a single that a couple of singles I was very happy to find. You ever get that feeling that sometimes you manage to get that nostalgic feeling from when you were a kid coming up again when you were an adult? Remember those days when you were a child and you listened very much to the radio, to a hit chart that you followed week after week after week, and you were very happy, you fell in love with a song that you thought to yourself, I'm gonna have this one, and suddenly one Saturday you ran down to the record store and bought that single. I was very happy to own a song that you could hear that was on that hit chart. I listened very much as a child, as I talked earlier, to the Swedish hit chart tracks, and hearing songs each and every week, and I was happy to go running down buying singles from the track chart and own it on my own. And I had the same feeling actually a couple of weeks ago, even though the singles here aren't new ones. But as I said, I am a collector of old radio shows from Sweden, and a couple of the recent month I've been listening every week for a program of Swedish pop chart program Poporama from 1978 that I've been able to listen through internet. And all of a sudden a song that I've been listening to very much, that I like very much, is a song with the British group Supercharge. I Think I'm Gonna Fall in Love. I was very exciting hearing that song, and I've been hearing it every program, and I thought to myself, I gotta have that one. And all of a sudden at the second-hand store called Fyndlaget, I was able to find all of a sudden to find it. And I find another song from the same program actually, and we have True Connection with What's Your Name, What's Your Number. And all of a sudden when I bought those one, and I left the second-hand store and I walked out, I got the feeling again from when I was a child. I felt like, yes, I bought a song that I liked very much from a program that I listened to every week. It was a very, very strange feeling actually, but this is a Supercharged song here. It's a great disco track. I really, really love it. I was very happy to find it. And the True Connection is maybe not that good as Supercharged, but it was a very interesting song actually. So it's going to be very interesting hearing the B-sides, of course. Now I'm going back to the other second-hand store where I bought those cheap records. This was a vinyl single I bought there it was a pure risk taker. I have no idea what this actually was. It is a group or a singer called Gina X with her version of the Beatles' Drive My Car, released on Static in 1984. I thought to myself that either this one is actually a good version, or it is one of those records that are so actually hilarious bad that it makes you laugh. And I would have accepted both of it. Unfortunately, it was just totally uninteresting synth pop version that didn't fit the song at all. So I'm not too sure that this one will go into the collection. But I didn't pay more than 10 cents for it. Here is an album that I was very happy to find. Brenda Russell, Horizon. It's the label, Horizon Records. Brenda Russell from 1979. Brenda Russell, of course, for us 80s fans, most famous for Piano in the Dark, but this is an older album with a lot of soul music. I've been listening a little bit to it, and it seems to be very, very interesting, very smooth and relaxing soul music from the 70s. So, produced by Andre Fisher, and this is going to be very, very interesting. Good finding for that low price of 10 cents. More 10 cents. Jackson Browne, Hold Out. I haven't been listening all that much to Jackson Browne, but you got to start somewhere. Also, I've been listening a little bit to it. It sounds very, very interesting. Also, an artist that I've been discovering recently through my listenings on old radio shows. And in this case, it is a radio show called El Dorado that was very popular in Sweden in the 80s. Eurogliders is a band that I've heard of, but I haven't never paid that much attention to them. This is their album Groove from 1989, and for 10 cents I thought it was a good price to do a little risk taking and see what it was actually. This one was also very interesting. Kenny Rogers, they don't make them like they used to. I bought this one. I'm not too fond of Kenny Rogers' country stuff, of course, because I'm not a country guy, but Kenny Rogers has done a lot of good albums with Lionel Richie as a producer, and this one is even better. It's produced mainly by Jay Graydon. It was a great 80s producer that has produced a whole lot of great tunes with his relaxing sound. So it's going to be very, very interesting. This is a very, very good album. Black is Beautiful. This is for 10 cents. Of course, you can accept that someone actually has written on the sleeve, because the album itself is actually very, very good 70s soul music, containing Rufus and Chaka Khan. You have Johnny Nash, Gwen McRae, Johnny Robinson, Sly and Family Stone, Brenda and the Jubilations, and Chamber Brothers, and so on. This is a really, really great compilation of the soul songs from the 70s. So this one was definitely a risk taker that really went home. This one also, because this one is also an album that I've been listening to. It's cut out, unfortunately, but I was very happy to find this one. This is Isaac Hayes' Movement, Disco Connection. released in 1975 on ABC Records. This is an instrumental album, instrumental soul album, but it's very well made, very relaxing, and some tracks also very funky and groovy. And I really like this album. It's a great 70s soul track that you want to hear over and over again, actually. So this was also a great finding. This is an album that I found also last week, I think. Thelma Houston, The Devil in Me. Cut out, unfortunately, but it's an interesting album from 1977. Containing some really good tracks. Some songs actually was a little bit of strange, but actually overall this is a very, very good album. Great Motown release. Trifling, interesting track. Also, Give Me Something to Believe In, a very, very great song. So this one is definitely going into the collection. This is a great 70s soul album. I also bought last week the Commodores, Midnight Magic from 1979. Also Motown release. Uh, 2 weeks ago I was able to buy this one. This is a compilation with the Temptations. I thought I wanted a 70s compilation of all the Temptation, and this is all 70s soul music. Great one. Papa Roach was a Rolling Stone, a masterpiece. Also shorter tracks like Shaky Ground, Just My Imagination, Running Away With Me, great song. Happy People, all the great songs from its Temptations. So this one was definitely a great finding, even though the songs weren't all that unusual. Here's an album that I bought today. Also very interesting finding. I've been just listened to this one. This is Cotton Club with the singer Richard Häger, who's the band leader. Cotton Club is a Swedish almost entertainment band. They haven't been doing real hits, but they have been. They were on television every now and then in the 90s and had released album also. And this one was the main reason I bought this one was because it does covers of old 80s songs, covers in Swedish. The album is from 1984, and some of the songs that was actually popular back then, but they have translated into Swedish. And once again, it could be, I thought it could actually be a great album, but it also could have been so hilarious, stupid that it makes you laugh. It wasn't either this time, but it was actually an okay album. Songs that they actually has translated here is Kim Wilde's Love Blonde, Thompson Twins, Hold Me Now, Tracy Ullman's They Don't Know, Gazebo's like I Like Chopin, Moonlight Shadow, Mike Oldfield and Meg Riley, Assembly's Never Never, Casey and the Sunshine Band's Give It Up, Sweet Dreams by Eurythmics, and so on. Howard Jones' new song also. Started off really good. I like their version of Hold Me Now, Thompson Twins, translated to Hold Me Now. Wasn't all that fond of their version of Chris Ria's I Can Hear Your Heartbeat. Was a pretty crappy version, even though not totally a failure. This could have been a disaster, but it could also have been a great album. It was something between an okay album, but I keep it anyway because it's kind of funny album actually to have 80 songs translated into Swedish. Another album that I actually bought today, at the same time and at the same place, Red Cross in the city, was this one. This is Kajsa Grytt, En kvinna under påverkan. Kajsa Grytt is a Swedish rock singer, most famous for being a lead singer in the 80s of a great rock band called Tant Strul. and was very happy. I had been very curious about this album for a long time. This is a pretty new one. It's released in 2011, and I've been kind of curious about this album for a long time, but I haven't been able to find it. And now I found it for a very, very good price of 50 cents. So it's a very good find. It's going to be very interesting listening to this one. So those were the records that I've been able to find this month. I hope that I will find even more during April. 26th of April is a record fair here in Sundsvall, but I'm not going to include that into the next vinyl update. I'm going to do a special video from that record fair, of course. But for now, I hope to see you soon, and I hope you have a very nice continuing of the weekend and beginning of the week. So long.